An extremely dangerous winter pattern is developing right now, and it all starts with a powerful blast of Arctic air. While the winter storm that caused widespread chaos is finally beginning to wind down, the impacts are far from over after several states were hit hard by destructive freezing rain and intense snowfall. What makes this situation so dangerous is what comes after this winter storm. With temperatures plunging to well below normal, snow and ice will struggle to melt for days, prolonging hazardous travel, increasing the risk of extended power issues, and slowing down recovery efforts across much of the southern and eastern United States. The cold air mass settling in will remain in place, and as we move deeper into next week, signals are already emerging for another round of snow, mainly across the central and eastern United States. So in today's forecast, I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know about this big weather pattern change that is about to impact the United States. And I want to start this video by talking about the major winter storm that has been slamming the United States over the last few days. We've seen so much catastrophic impacts, especially around the Nashville, Tennessee area. All the video that you're seeing here was taken just outside of Nashville, where you can see all sorts of trees that are leaning over, that are splitting, that are breaking. There were a ton of trees down all across the Nashville area. A lot of you guys were sending me in photos and videos of all the crazy stuff that happened here over the last 24 hours. And by far, this was one of the hardest hit areas by this winter storm. And this is going to be impacts that'll last a long time. Lots of trees are down, even 100-year-old trees are down in some spots. And on top of that, we have widespread power outages with nearly 90% of Nashville without power at this hour. And the good news is that this winter storm is nearly done in the United States. We still have a lot of freezing rain and snow falling at this hour in areas like New England and also back into the Carolinas. But the good thing is that as we go into tonight, a lot of this is going to start to wind down. The one area, though, that's going to continue to get hit hard by heavy snow will be back over in southern New England. And notice that we'll have a sleet and freezing rain line set up right here in southern New England. So areas like Connecticut, Rhode Island, and even back towards Foxborough, Massachusetts, and as well as Cape Cod will transition into sleet briefly as we go into tonight. So roadways could be slick if they're untreated across southern New England tonight. And then eventually as we go into tomorrow, most of the snow is going to move offshore. We will still have some pockets of light to moderate snowfall, especially right over in the Boston area. We could have a localized area of heavy snowfall as we go into Monday morning. But during the daytime on Monday, some passing showers in Florida, some snow coming off the lakes will remain possible throughout Monday. And then by Tuesday, we are only talking about lake effect snow back over here in the upper peninsula of Michigan, western Michigan, and across parts of western New York. But the winter storm will finally be done, and the headache will be done as well. Now, in terms of total snowfall accumulation across the Northeast between 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, which is around when this video comes out, all the way through 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we are expecting a widespread foot of snow still across upstate New York, most of central and northern New England, and back into Maine. Areas like Boston will be picking up another 12 to 14 inches of snowfall. This is on top of the snow we've already seen, and some of these spots are expected to see in total around 2 feet of snowfall. And generally speaking, this winter storm ended up performing pretty well. I mean, in terms of our forecast, we did expect a lot of snow, and it ended up snowing a lot in a lot of areas. I'd say the one area that underperformed just a little bit was back over in Oklahoma, where we still saw a widespread 6 to 12 inches of snow. Back through the Ohio Valley, we saw a lot of places overperform, close to 16, 17 inches of snow in areas like Cincinnati, back into southern Indiana. All across the Northeast, we're already overperforming, and by tomorrow morning, I do think everybody is going to have overperforming snowfall accumulation in almost every one of these areas. Now, this winter storm did lead to a lot of ice accumulation, but luckily the power outages were not as bad as what they could have been, as many areas did underperform when it came to freezing rain accumulation, as most areas like Tennessee, Mississippi, and even Louisiana did end up seeing a lot more sleet than what we thought we would see. We thought we were going to see a lot more freezing rain. Areas like Atlanta, Georgia were slightly warmer than we expected. The Carolinas had less moisture than we expected. And even over in North Texas, we end up having just overall a lot more sleet than freezing rain. So good news for those areas. Unfortunately, though, in Mississippi, Louisiana, and as well as Tennessee, that is where we have widespread power outages at this hour that could last upwards of a week or longer due to the fact we have so many trees down and so many power lines that have been ripped apart. And in just a moment, I'm going to talk about exactly why we are going to see another Arctic blast later this week, why many of you could have ice and snow stick around for several days, and why we could see freezing temperatures tonight that lead to ice accumulation in areas like Atlanta and even back towards Huntsville. But before we do that, we need to talk about the sponsor of today's video. Now, what comes after this winter storm is very concerning, as we are going to see some bone-chilling air impact much of the United States. And unfortunately, as we go into tonight and tomorrow, we are going to see a very intense Arctic blast make its way all the way down into areas like the Gulf Coast states and the Southeast. Temperatures will be as low as 0 degrees or even sub-zero temperatures near areas like Dallas-Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, all the way back into the Ohio Valley, where very intense cold is expected. And then back through the East Coast, we'll have very intense cold as we go into tomorrow morning. Wind chills in some of these areas could be as low as 20 degrees below zero. By Tuesday and Wednesday, you might think things are improving moving, but they really aren't, because the remainder of that Arctic air from this winter storm will still be down in the southern plains. And once we start to see another round of Arctic air come from an upper level low pressure system in Canada, that is going to drop even more cold air down towards the Gulf Coast in the southeast. This could open the door for some low end snow chances back over in parts of the central and eastern United States during the middle and end of this week. And then look at this, by Friday and Saturday, we are talking about a much more intense Arctic air mass moving all the way down into the southern plains in the southeast, with bone chilling cold once again returning to the same exact areas. And if we are to see some moisture once again come out of the Pacific or even back over here out of the Gulf, we might see some snow chances back down in parts of the southern plains or the southeast again. But I do not think it's going to be anything like what we just saw here over the last few days. And then eventually, as we go to Sunday and Monday of the following week, so basically the first week of February, that is where things get a lot more uncertain. Now, one of the biggest problems that we are going to see over the next 12 to 24 hours is that the temperatures are going to rapidly fall across areas in the southern plains and the southeast. We could see some areas like Huntsville or even Atlanta go back below freezing tonight, and any remaining liquid that is on the roadways could freeze over into a really thin layer of ice, which can obviously cause some slick spots. It's not really going to cause power outages, but it would at least cause the possibility of seeing some travel impacts. So definitely something to keep in mind for tonight. Tomorrow morning, temperatures will be back down to around 10 to 20 degrees below zero in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Back even over North Texas, we're going to have some extremely cold air down there. Monday afternoon for most of you is not going to get above freezing, especially in Tennessee, Texas, and back into Oklahoma. Tuesday doesn't look great either. I think most areas, especially over here in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Oklahoma, are going to remain around or just below freezing. Dallas, Fort Worth, and Little Rock, you guys should get above freezing, so that will at least help to melt some of that ice and snow away. Wednesday is going to be very cold across the southern plains and also the Ohio Valley. Temperatures well below zero in some spots. And then eventually by Wednesday afternoon and Thursday, that cold is just going to continue to linger in areas like Texas and Oklahoma. And this means that some of the snow and ice out there might not melt until at least Thursday, Friday, maybe even Saturday in some of these areas, because we're just not really going to have any surge of warm air. And with another Arctic blast expected by Saturday, things are going to be really rough out there. I mean, we're not really going to be looking at anything nice in terms of weather, probably at least until sometime during the middle of next week. So it's going to be cold here. Make sure that you're staying bundled up, have warm blankets ready to go, and also make sure that you're checking in on friends and family. Now, once this winter storm moves offshore, it's going to get a lot quieter for the United States in terms of the rain and snow. We are not going to have as much of it. Back over in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of rain during the early to middle portion of this week could cause some flooding in some localized locations. The next chance for snow will likely be around Thursday and Friday. We could get a little bit of snow underneath another Arctic high pressure system that is going to be centered over Canada. This is not expected to be as significant as what we just saw, but we could see some passing light to moderate snow showers in Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and the mid-Atlantic. And if we have some sort of merger here where we have some moisture coming out of the Gulf and also some of that snow and cold air coming out of the north, that could actually help to allow for maybe a little bit of snow near the Gulf Coast. Right now, the GFS model is showing a very small sliver of snow in Louisiana. There is a chance, though, that over the next few days, trends could go more in the direction of actually having something a bit more widespread. But again, as of right now, it's going to be nothing compared to what we just saw here over the last few days. And then by next week and into early next week, that's where things get a lot more uncertain. And as always, thank you all so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I want to say thank you to all of you that tune into our extensive live coverage. We were live for over 16 hours yesterday covering this winter storm. For me and my team, I do want to say thank you for trusting us to give you reliable weather information. We will continue to keep you posted on any sort of major weather events that are coming in the near future. We will likely have another video tomorrow morning. If not, maybe in the afternoon. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to be very, very tired tonight. I'll be sleeping a lot. So I do appreciate you guys all tuning into our live streams. Also, a huge shout out to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's forecast. Make sure to check them out. It's the top link in the description below. Without our amazing sponsors, we wouldn't be able to provide the amazing coverage that we have without all of them. Thank you guys all again so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.